Today, we are going to talk about the liver. We have the diagram here on the white board. Okay? The liver, as we have on the board, is the largest gland in mammal. Okay? Liver is the largest gland in mammal. What is gland? Gland is any organ that is secretory in function. Any organ that is secretory in function is gland. Okay? We have two types of gland. We have the endocrine gland, we have the exocrine gland. The endocrine gland is the gland that have no ducts. It is known as ductless gland. Then the exocrine are those glands that possesses ducts. All right? You can as well call it the duct gland with ducts. Okay? The diagram we have here, we have the liver here, the stomach, the gallbladder, the hepatic ducts, the common bile ducts, then we have the duodenum and the pancreas. All right? Here, the liver and the pancreas are typical examples of gland we have here in the diagram. All right? The liver here is an exocrine gland that possesses ducts. As you can have here, we have the common bile ducts and hepatic duct in the liver. All right? Then here, the pancreas as well can function as exocrine gland because of the presence of ducts. All right? The pancreas possesses ducts. All right? But this pancreas here can as well function as endocrine. Okay? The pancreas function as endocrine. That means we have the endocrine functions of the pancreas. The functionality of the pancreas that does make use of the ducts. They exert their secretions into the blood or portal system that convey it to different parts of the body where the hormones they produce exert their physiological function. All right? Then in one of our next video, we are going to talk about the endocrine gland and the exocrine gland. Okay? Today we are going to talk on the liver. All right? As we say here, it is the largest gland in mammal. It is dark red in color, lying in the cavity of the diaphragm. All right? The liver is located on the cavity of the diaphragm and overlapping to some extent with the stomach. As you can see here is the stomach. The liver here overlaps to some extent of the stomach lying above. Okay. Then we have the gallbladder, which is a transparent ovoid sac which embedded in one of the liver lobes. All right? We have here the gallbladder, which is ovoid sac that is embedded in one of the liver lobes. All right. Then the liver produces bile and the bile gets stored. It produces bile which gets stored in the gallbladder. All right? The liver produces bile which gets stored in the gallbladder. That is to say, the bile are stored temporarily in the gallbladder. All right? But this bile is produced by the liver. We have a special cell in the liver that is responsible for bile production. Okay? The cell that produces bile in the liver is known as hepatocytes, and that is one of the key functions of the liver. Do you understand? That is one of the key functions of the liver. The medical name for liver is hepato. That is the medical name for liver. Anytime we hear the word hepato, we are referring to the liver. All right? You guys have heard of hepatic arteries and hepatic veins. These are the arteries and veins that are connected to the liver. All right? Even though we know we have hepatic portal system, the hepatic portal vein, all right, that conveys the digested and absorbed food nutrient to the liver, so the liver will continue the function, all right, to remove toxins in the digested and absorbed food nutrients. All right. Now, the particular cell in the liver that performs the key function, which is to produce bile, we have here on the board is called the hepatocytes. All right. This is a special cell that plays the key functional role of the liver by producing the bile. And I said that this bile gets stored temporarily in the gall bladder. All right? Then the bile is alkaline fluid and green in color. Its color is derived largely from breakdown products of the red pigment in decomposing red blood cell. All right? The bile we discussed here on the board is alkaline in nature, all right? And is green in color. And what makes it green is due to the decomposition of the products of the red blood cell. All right? And that product of the red blood cell is the pigment of the red blood cell. All right? That is the proteinous pigment that makes the red blood cell reddish in color. And that is nothing but hemoglobin. All right? Disruption of the hemoglobin makes the bile produced in the liver to become green in color. Take note, the bile is highly alkaline in nature. That means it's going to neutralize the acid of chyme which are found coming from the stomach to enter into the duodenum. So the function here of the bile is to neutralize the acidic chyme. The gallbladder is connected to the proximal arm of the duodenum. The duodenum here is the first part of small intestine. Duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. All right? The bile contains organic bile salts and sodium carbonate, which partly neutralize the acid chyme from the stomach. I've explained this before. All right? The chyme is located in the stomach. So by the time it's going out of the stomach to enter into the duodenum, if you look here, here is the stomach in which we have chyme. All right? Then the bile, which is stored temporarily here in the gallbladder, all right, is excreted here into the duodenum. The whole of this structure here is duodenum. I hope you are following. All right. Then we have the pancreas. All right. There's a connection between the stomach, the common bile ducts, and the pancreas. Here in the pancreas, we have the major, or let's say the main pancreatic ducts. All right. This main pancreatic duct is known as duct of Wilson. That is known as the duct of Wilson. Then here we have accessory. We have the accessory duct of the pancreas. All right. This accessory duct of the pancreas is known as duct of Santorini. That is known as the duct of Santorini. All right. Then the pancreas, we are looking at the exocrine function of the pancreas here. The pancreas produces pancreatic enzyme. It produces pancreatic enzyme which help to facilitate digestion. All right. These pancreatic enzymes empties into the duodenum through the pancreatic ducts. Here we have the pancreatic ducts. All right. Then the accessory ducts of the pancreas, which I refer here as the duct of Santorini, all right, we also have to secrete some pancreatic enzymes from different parts of the pancreas. And that enters into the duodenum through the duodenum papillae. It enters through the duodenal papillae. All right? Not through the main pancreatic duct. The main pancreatic ducts, which I refer here as the duct of Wilson, empty its secretion, which is the pancreatic enzymes, to get into the pancreatic duct, which empties into the duodenum. All right? Then the accessory ducts here empty the pancreatic enzymes through the duodenal papillae. All right? Then here, the bile, which is synthesized or produced by the hepatocyte of the liver. All right? Here it empties into the gallbladder where it is stored temporarily. All right? Then they from the gallbladder, the bile emptied into the duodenum, all right, through the common bile ducts. If you look here, we have a connection. We have a connection. This is a connection here between the common bile ducts, the pyloric, we call it pyloric sphincter of the stomach. Then here is the pancreatic duct. Here is the duodenum. This connection here is known as the ampulla of Vater. Here is known as the ampulla of Vater, the connection between the common bile duct, the pancreatic duct, the stomach pyloric sphincter, and the duodenum. All right, that connection is known as the ampulla of Vater. Okay, so the next we're going to talk about here in this video, we are going to look at the functions of the liver. Let's look at the key functions of the liver. Okay, here we are going to look at the regulatory functions of the liver. Number one function of the liver is the blood sugar level. All right, the liver maintains the blood sugar level. All right, now this blood sugar level is also referred to as blood glucose level. All right, the sugar we have in the blood is known as blood glucose. Now, how do the liver maintain or regulate the blood sugar level? Here is the pancreas, because liver cannot perform that function alone. All right, liver responds to that function only if the pancreas produces the enzyme that is responsible for regulating the blood sugar level. All right, in the pancreas, we have what is called the islet of Langerhans. Islet of Langerhans. These are special cells that are responsible for regulating the blood sugar level. All right? In the islet of Langerhans here, we have the alpha cells. We have here the alpha cells. We have the beta cells. We have the delta cells. These have no effect on the blood sugar level. All right? The alpha cells synthesizes glucagon. The beta cells synthesizes insulin. All right? Now, when there is excess sugar in the blood, the beta cells here, when there is excess sugar in the blood, the beta cells will synthesizes and releases more insulin into the blood. All right? Now, the presence of insulin will send signals to the liver. Now, liver will start to convert excess sugar to glycogen. It will start to convert excess sugar to glycogen in the presence of insulin, which is synthesized and released by the beta cells of the pancreas. Now, when there is low sugar in the blood, all right, this liver here responds to this hormone called glucagon. Glucagon is released by the alpha cells. Releases glucagon. Now, liver responds to the presence of glucagon to convert the already stored glycogen back into glucose. All right? And by doing so, it will elevate the blood sugar level. So if you look at this function here on the board, the liver has a regulatory effect to maintain and to keep the blood sugar level constant. All right? And you can also say that the liver is one of the osmoregulatory organs we have in the human body. The liver is also one of the key osmoregulatory organs we have in the human body, as we discussed in the last video. All right. So liver regulates the blood sugar level by responding to the presence of insulin and glucagon produced by the islet of Langerhans of the pancreas. All right. Then the next we are going to look here as the function is detoxification. Detoxification. Detoxification of drugs and alcohols. All right. The liver is responsible for detoxification of drugs and alcohol. What is the meaning of detoxification? Detoxification here on the board means to make harmful or toxic substance to become harmless. All right? To make the harmful substances in drugs and alcohols to become harmless. All right? So that is the key function of the liver. The number 3 is storage. Liver is responsible for storage of some certain substances in the body. What does the liver store? The liver stores iron in ferric state. Liver stores iron in ferric state, or you can say in form of ferritin. You can say in form of ferritin, all right? It stores iron in the ferric state. Then the liver stores glycogen, all right? Excess sugar, which the liver converted to glycogen, are stored in the liver and also in the muscle cells. All right? You can say that the liver and the muscle cells stores the already converted excess sugar in the blood, which is glycogen. All right? The liver is responsible for storage of glycogen. All right? And as such, the glycogen is also stored in the muscle cells. All right? The liver is also responsible for storage of vitamin B12. It is responsible for storage of vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is also known as cyanocobalamin. It is known as cyanocobalamin. All right? The liver here, the next function is diminution of protein. Diminution of proteins. All right? The liver here is responsible for breaking down amino acid. It is known as amino acid breakdown or amino acid metabolism. All right? The amino acid is broken down to produce urea, ammonia, and uric acid. All right? These are known as nitrogenous waste. They are known as nitrogenous waste. All right? That is to say, the liver is responsible for producing nitrogenous waste in the body, which are very toxic. All right? I told you before, liver is also responsible for removing toxic substances in the body, and this is one of the way the liver performs that function. All right? Please write fast so that I can wipe here for the next function. Okay, we are through. All right. Now, the liver is responsible for production of red blood cells in fetus. Just say the liver is responsible for fetal blood production. The liver is responsible for fetal blood production. Normally, we know that blood is produced by the pluripotent hematopoietic stem cells. All right? Blood is produced by pluripotent hematopoietic stem cells of the bone marrow. Of the bone marrows. This is the cell that produces blood, all right? And this cell is located in the bone marrow. It is responsible for blood production. But take note, at the fetal stage of life, the bone marrow is not well developed, it's not well formed, it's not well matured to start producing blood. At that point, the blood is produced by the liver, all right? Liver is responsible for fetal blood production, all right? Then number 6, liver is also responsible for red blood cells destruction, or you can say breakdown. The liver breaks down the dead red blood cells. Okay? The liver breaks down dead red blood cells. Please take note. Liver don't break down all the blood cells. All right? It is very specific here on the board. It destroys old red blood cells. All right? It's responsible for destruction of blood. And we have a special cell that is responsible for destruction of toxins, because it is not only the red blood cell that is destroyed by the liver. All right? Liver destroy toxins. You can add it as number 7 function. It destroys toxins in the blood, and as such, it also destroys dead or old red blood cells. Right? Then we have a special cell that is responsible for this function. All right? The cells is reticuloendothelial cells of the liver. Is responsible for that function. All right? Reticuloendothelial cells of the liver is responsible for destruction of toxins in the blood, and as well destruction of the old or dead red blood cells in the body. All right? So these are the key major functions of the liver. All right? These are the key major functions of the liver. Here we have the diagram of the liver here. The bile, which are stored in the gallbladder. So here, the diagram here is the gallbladder, the stomach. Remember, the chyme in the stomach is very acidic, all right? And the chyme is later neutralized by alkaline bile, which is stored here temporarily in the gallbladder. Then the pancreas synthesizes and releases the pancreatic enzymes. Here we have the pancreatic main duct. That is the main pancreatic duct, which is called the duct of Wilson. All right. Then we have the duct of Santorini, which is known as the accessory duct of the pancreas, or you can call it the minor pancreatic duct. Here is the duodenum. Then the major part where the bile ducts, the duodenum, the pancreatic duct, and the pyloric sphincter of the stomach meat is known as the ampulla of Vater. All right. This is all we have for now. Thank you, and God bless you. Please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. More videos are coming